Let me talk to you.
You know who you're talking to?
Yeah, you. Stand up.
I don't know.
Load the spaceship with the rocket fuel.
Suffering succotash.
Will you stop? 180 degrees. And the t-shirts are too tight too, Billy.
I almost fell to my knees and just started throwing up right there.
Praise be to Allah.
Hello and welcome into the brand new show, Toof and Nail. We got Andretti, Teddy Mongoose. It's a brand new show that we're going to be doing here on the Podski network. And this is just to get more content to you. And this is all the great love child that has been birthed by Andretti and Mongoose very long time ago. So the band is back together. The three-man booth, Toof and Nail, they are back. So this is a brand new format that we want to do. It's going to be literally anything. So I can even let Andretti step in here too, because I know he's got a lot of ideas, and it's not always going to be the wrestling on here. It's going to be all kinds of different stuff. So it's going to be outside of the Podski, and it's going to be whatever else we want to cover. So give us a little bit of a glimpse into the crystal ball here, Andretti.
Yeah, I got a lot of ideas. I know not every idea is a good one, so we're going to find out how that comes across. But you know, we're lucky to have you here today, Baker, because I thought for sure it was going to be me and the Mongoose doing the solo, at least to get going here while you were working on other projects or whatever. But yeah, man, this is going to be a lot of fun. We've been Mongoose and I have been kind of involved with Toof and Nail here since at least 2004. We found out, so we went back and read a little bit of the chat room / message board discussions we did, college football, wrestling related, almost 20 years ago already today, and we were all popping really hard for all that stuff. So we're definitely looking forward to getting this thing going and kind of doing some different topics and having people come in and out and doing additional shows and getting them posted so everybody can check them out.
Yeah, absolutely. So before we get into the rest of the show, make sure you're checking out all the other things that we're also doing on the Podski network here. We recorded Hot Shots last night. That episode is going to be coming out this Thursday, June 8th. So make sure you check that out. And JC and I, we had our first pay-per-view show. It was Hell in a Cell. And I thought it turned out really well. I made a really stupid mistake, so you can watch me sipping my own shit live on the show. So that'll be on YouTube, and that's going to be a show that we're going to be migrating strictly over to YouTube, obviously, because it's all visual. So it's basically a watch along as JC and I play on 2K23. So it's all in my GM, and we book our own shows, and then we are pinned against each other for ratings and money and roster control. And I'm feeling pretty good about where I'm at right now, but you'll definitely see my huge mistake that I make in the show when you watch it this week, and that is episode 5. We've already done the draft in the 4 weeks leading up to it, and after this week, we're heading towards Extreme Rules. So that's definitely something that you should be looking forward to on the YouTube. That's going to be migrating specifically over to there. JC likes to say he's getting demoted to Podski Dark Elevation. So.
Well, we're not even allowed to be visual on this show. We're just audio. But like, you don't want to put us on a screen.
Well, yeah, or we're not even on the screen either. It's just like us playing. It's just the game screen. So
JC is such a good looking guy that he can be the flag bearer of all of this visually for the media.
The biggest beard and the only doctor here on the Podski.
Who are your champs right now?
My champ and my WWE champion. So I'm running SmackDown. JC is running WCW, and I have Shawn Michaels and Dexter Lumis are my tag team champions. Sami Zayn is my world champion. He just beat Shanky the last show, and Io Sky is my women's world champion. And Bailey and Carmella are my women's tag team champions, and Otis is my intercontinental champion.
Nice. Now, is this modern?
I like Bella. I like Bella as the name of that tag team.
Yeah,
Bailey and Carmella.
Yeah. Is it? Are you talking current day Shawn and Loomis are the tag team champs?
No, this is DX Shawn and Dexter Lumis.
Okay.
It's fantastic.
Dude, I would take cross-eyed bald Shawn that can still do an incredible amount of stretching and morning yoga with Dexter Loomis any day. Really quick, off the top of your head, guys, since you said that, John, never seen this fellow, but best bearded doctor, who you got? Because I'm pushing my chips all in with Steve Williams.
Ooh.
Oh man, bearded doctor.
I got.
Do I have the winning hand? Do I have the winning hand if I got Steve Williams?
House? Dr. House? It's the only one I can think of off the top of my head. Maybe
we're both pillheads.
What McDream or McSteamy off of Grey's Anatomy? Or McDreamy? I can't think of what his name is.
I think that well they called him McDreamy. I don't know what his gimmick name was on the show.
Yeah,
he was famous for being McDreamy. Yeah, him.
I don't know, dude. I don't even know if that's the right name. I mean, we
Sounds
don't
right to me.
We don't know what. I'll get. Did David Schultz, Dr. David Schultz, ever have a beard? He have a beard?
I think so. I think it was
it
too blonde for it to like really be noticeable.
Or I go with. We don't know what Dr. Feelgood looked like from Motley Crue, so maybe I'll go with. We'll say Dr. Feelgood had a sweet beard.
That'd be in on that. Though either sweet beard or so androgynous, like you know what I mean, like just beautiful hair, dangly earring, leather pants. It is one of the two. There is no in the middle. Dr. Feelgood does not shop at Target. You know what I'm saying? Dr. Feelgood either goes straight to Wilson's Leather, or he shops at
Harley Davidson.
Yeah, whatever. Route 21 or something like that. Really quick, I need to say
Route
this because
21.
this is episode. Yeah,
Route
that's what
21.
I said. That's how, well, dude, that's girl store, right?
It's both.
Man, I have no idea, man.
It's both. I've been in there.
Okay, I was gonna say I can absolutely see like
I haven't bought anything in there, but my wife has.
I think you might have.
They sometimes have they have these weird NBA mashup like shorts that they got in there that I've seen before. Never.
It makes it even better that I said Route 21 because obviously I have no idea what they even sell there.
I could never pull the trigger on them, but
really quick, I need to say that I'm honored to be here on the kickoff show here. If we're looking at the meaning of the number one, obviously one's gonna signify oneself. Okay, so one is going to signify self, but it also could mean independence or a new beginning, a new start. And while this is not going to be a new start, being that it'll be a bunch of common faces, voices, whatever you'd like to say. I'm excited to take the first step on this new journey here with you two dirt bags. Now, I do want to say a couple of awesome ones. Just did a little bit of a thinking here while the intro was going on. The Jet Li movie from like 2005, fantastic, called The One. If you've never seen it, check it out. Gary Anderson will always get a shout out from me on anything that relates to the number one. The Air Jordan 1 is an all-time classic model. And then my other one, the Creed song. One, oh, one. The only way is one. Fantastic, dude.
Well, it's also the Metallica song, One. Oh, I can't remember anything.
Yeah.
That's a good one.
Take him out.
Yeah.
Speaking of listening to speed metal really loud in the car, today I made the mistake of going to Taco Bell in the morning to try their breakfast, which I've never done, and that was an enormous mistake.
I heard it's not great.
Dude, the Crunch Wrap is okay. I will never go back there again, dude. I had to wait 13 minutes. I had to wait 13 minutes for a hash brown, and I had to have a homeless woman beat on my freaking driver's side window and tell me, I heard what you said in there, which I went in through the drive-thru, so I didn't go in. She was talking to the wrong person.
Oh my God.
And then she wandered off into the bushes. So that was a really good experience. Never again. Never again.
What is it, dude? She went straight back to her land of enchantment.
Dude,
you know what I'm saying?
Like that was the doors to Narnia.
Yep.
It cost me $7.50. It cost me $7.50 to get a Crunch Wrap and a hash brown. I could have just got 2 sausage egg McMuffins and $1.08 iced coffee for less money than that, and it would have been way better. So I'm done with Taco Bell breakfast. Never again.
Yeah,
You're
that was a
out.
poor choice.
Fired. You're fired.
You're fired. Yeah, I got. I'll give you three number ones. We got who used to be the homeboy, now off the list though. Chris Bosch. Chris Bosch.
There you go. That's a good number one.
We got Steve Park, which Andretti knows all about from his racing days.
Yeah.
And
I only care about what I do with my team.
yeah, sure you do. That's why you're always in the back of the pack. And obviously, since we're sporting the Miami here, a little Tua Tagovailoa.
Oh, dude, much love to Tua. Man, I'm hoping. I mean this. I would love to see what his NFL career can look like, injury free. And the bad thing is that he's so dinged up already that you assume that it's shortened. I don't mean, you know what I'm saying? Like, I'm not trying to bad juju anybody, but when you have when you've ripped your hip off of the bone, and then whenever you've literally gone seizure filled on the field from a head injury, I hope that he's able to get himself a good decade or so. But yeah, man, he's one that I loved him in college, and whenever you guys. The Finns, I guess that you haven't been with the front office in a couple of years, John, but whenever y'all drafted him, I secretly in my heart, the Finns hold a spot with me where I love to see them either fly or burn, just because your reactions to either just really warm my heart. And so I'm hoping that there's good fortune ahead for that fella.
Well, he gained, I think, 15 pounds of muscle over the offseason. And he looks like way different than what he did last year.
Speaking of gained 15 pounds, Mrs. Mongoose sent me a picture today. And she was like,
wow, dude, way to bury your wife, dude.
Wow. No, dude, I guess I should have given better context to start, right?
Yeah.
So she sent me a picture today that was one of those, like, the iTunes or iPhoto, whatever, throws up the this date 4 years ago or whatever on your phone. And she sent me, and it was 4 years ago today, and it was me sitting on the couch wearing a acid washed King of the Ring 1995 shirt with our kitten sitting like on my shoulder. Oh no, it would have been 3 years ago, not 4 years ago, because it was 2020. So with our kitten sitting on our shoulder, brand new purchased kitten. And literally the only thing that I said back to her was COVID titties, because holy cow, your man had a rack. That was obviously that was fresh off of 2 months of shutdown, where the only thing that we were able to get was food and White Claw, and it was showing. Holy cow, man!
Yeah,
like I was embarrassing to take a look at that, and thank goodness that she was able to, she laughed at it with me and wasn't like, I know you're just, you were disgusting or whatever. That would hurt my feelings a little bit, but yeah,
brother, yeah. I'm still on shutdown.
Hey man, well, COVID titties. That was all I had to say. It should have been. I guess it should have been middies. COVID middies.
Speaking of food and White Claw, Andretti,
Go ahead.
Go ahead and plug what is coming up here within the next. It'll be a month from now.
Oh yeah, there's a few events that are going to involve both of those things. So the first thing coming up is going to be Maryland Championship Wrestling, live from Hollywood, Maryland, with the 3-man band in attendance. We already got our tickets, so that's going to be awesome in July. I can't wait to see that. Bushwhacker Butch is it Luke? Bushwhacker
Butch
Luke
is dead.
Okay, Bushwhacker Luke will be there.
And deadpan that in here.
And my nephew Action Andretti is also announced for that card already. So we're looking forward to that. And then after that, I'm sure there'll be a lot of food. Dude, I literally was thinking about this last night, how excited I am about going down through Baltimore and getting crab cakes and being idiots with the two of you. Dude, it's going to be so much fun. Unbelievable. And then after that, we've got The Laurel Highlands Pizza Wars with me and Dolan are going to come up. We don't know exactly what day that's going to be yet, but that'll definitely be a review show. Whether that's going to be, I don't know whether you guys are even going to be around to be a part of that or not, but to do the actual event, you're more than welcome to come. But we'll do that either as a Toof and Nail or as a standalone, that I'll do just with Dolan and post it. But we got that coming up. We're going to be touring a lot of pizza places all over the Laurel Highlands, central Pennsylvania. We've got a whole list of places we want to hit. We got rolls. We've got all this stuff laid out already. So we're going to hit the ground running with that thing. This is the third year we've done the Pizza Wars, so we're looking forward to that. And then after that is Snydermania 8 Cheeseburger Picnic. Now, I don't know anybody named Snyder, so it's going to be interesting to go to that and then to be at a family reunion with people I don't even know. But we're going to go to that. You're going to be a ton of people at that thing. This is the first time we've done one since the pandemic. So there were 5 of them before that. And then we took a 3-year break because everybody's elderly and we wanted to be safe. So I'm under the impression you guys are going to be at that and then and bring the fam and everything and extended family, whoever you want to bring. And then we'll be doing a lot of drinking that day and a lot of eating cheeseburgers and cookies and everything else. So definitely looking forward to that for sure.
So 2 things I need to interject with really quick. The only Snyder I know is he is a snow-colored head of hair and beard that wields a strong Cambria hammer into the spike of railroads, all up, down, left, and right in the great area of the Western Pennsylvania. Those railroads were built on the back of one man, and he lives forever in our hearts. The second thing is that Bushwhacker Butch died on April 2nd, so you guys can go meet Luke, and I will go to the mausoleum, and I will be paying my respects to Butch. And so we'll call it even then for Andretti bringing him, name dropping him whenever the poor guy left us not just over 2 months ago.
Hey, I got a couple real quick. I got a couple of number ones here that I wanted to throw in there. Well, I did a little search. So I only got 2. So the first one I have, Warren Moon was number 1.
I was going to say Warren Moon, but I wanted to get 2 with some love in there.
Dude, we could do a whole tooth and nail on this about the best uniforms of all time. I personally think the Oilers are the best football uniforms of all time. We can debate about that at another time. But Warren Moon, I think, was the last University of Washington Husky to get drafted, right?
Ever.
Yeah.
Yeah. That sounds about right. Yeah, that sounds about right.
Say that again.
I think Warren Moon was the last University of Washington Husky to play in the NFL, right?
No, Miles Gaskin for the place for the Dolphins right now. He was drafted.
Oh, see,
he was a Washington Husky.
They've been so bad for so long. I thought maybe there wasn't anybody that came out of there.
There was that quarterback too. He played. I think he was drafted by the Titans. I think back in the day.
Killing the gimmick. Killed
the gimmick dead.
Still there.
Yep.
Killed your gimmick dead.
And then the other
I got way too literal.
It's all good. The other one I have is Ozzie Smith, number 1.
Ozzie Smith is a good number 1.
So Ozzie Smith, you want to hear my favorite Ozzie Smith story real quick is my mom.
Do it. Yeah, give it to me.
For whatever reason, my mom has got a metal sign hanging in the den of the house. Okay. And it says something to the effect of, when there's a cardinal in your yard, it's a blessing from God or something like that, right?
Yeah, I always say it's loved ones.
I took a picture of that sign and photoshopped Ozzie Smith doing a backflip on top of the cardinal. And then I also took a picture of the backyard and did a picture of Ozzie Smith doing a backflip in the yard. Okay. And I showed it to my mom, and she just wouldn't even put me over, dude. Well, she was like, "What is this? I don't understand what this is." I go, "He's a cardinal. He's doing a backflip in the yard." She's like, "So what?"
The reason, here's where you went wrong, is what you should have done was stayed in business for yourself, and then got that printed onto a card and gave that to her for Mother's Day, Valentine's Day. One of these things where you're giving your mom some love. And just say, "Mom, I just wanted you to know that the greatest shortstop from this era to this era made me think of you, and so thank you for imparting that knowledge onto me as a young boy." so that every time I saw this feat of acrobatic prowess, that I thought of you.
That's so great.
That is a wonderful idea. Here was what I was just thinking was I like Mandela affected or something. I thought Ozzie Smith was number 2.
I mean, they got him number 1 on this list.
I don't know.
I could, like, if you said, yo, we're throwing down bets, pick Ozzie Smith's number, I'd have been all in with number 2.
Let's check this out here. Let's see what's going on here.
It is number 1. Number 1 on this one. Number 1 on that one.
Number 2 later on or something. I don't know.
Or maybe I just was existing in a make-believe timeline.
Or are you thinking about the other shortstop, Derek Jeter?
Well, I do know Derek Jeter. I know Jeter well because I quit on the Pirates in 1996 when they quit on me. And so the Yankees were my favorite team for about a decade afterwards. So I'm very familiar with Jeter.
I think they might have quit on you a lot earlier than that.
I stuck with them until 96. And it was 97, excuse me. 97 was the year that they were really, really they were deep entangled into the division race that year with the Houston Astros. And that was, I'm not even kidding, man. I probably watched 150 Pirates games that year. They didn't even finish 500, but they were in the division race for the entire season. And I was at an age where me and the old man were, he wasn't doing anything at night. I was there, and so every single night in the summer, dude, I would come in by 7:30 so that I could sit and watch the Pirates play. That was the year that Ricardo Rincon and Francisco Cordova split the no-hitter. So there's a couple of things that are near and dear to me with that Buccos team that stick out. And then because they got so close to a division championship, again, even though they didn't even finish 500, they were in it the whole year, fell apart at the end, and then they sold the team for parts again. And I said, you know what? Then I'm going to root for the team that buys all the parts that you sell. So I was a huge Yankees fan for the next 10 years or so. My allegiance is for sale, ladies and gentlemen. All you got to do is money, like that. Everybody's got a price. I ain't scared to say it. Was that a good DiBiase or what? Was that good enough? I hope that the microphone caught
the
that.
The audio cut out on you while you were doing it.
All right, we'll try one more time.
Do it again.
I'm going to try one more time. We'll try one more time.
That was
there
good.
you go.
That was it. If I go any louder, I'll get yelled at from Mrs. Mongoose upstairs. She'll start hitting a broomstick on the floor.
Oh my God. So what else has been going on? Yesterday, I drilled and assembled about 100 pieces of cabinet hardware in the house, and I want to shoot myself in the face.
Wow, that sucks. I can't even think about changing any apparatus on any type of cabinetry in my house.
But things are going. Things are moving forward.
I give anything a shot. I just the thing that stinks is that I'll take a shot at anything, and then I've made enough things worse that I always call for advice first.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
We got that new roof and it was leaking, and then they came back out and checked it out. So we need some damn rain so that I can get full confirmation of whether or not that thing's still leaking, which I'll probably know this weekend.
Yeah.
But yeah,
we got to get roofers out there too, and it's been just mental exhaustion over everything regarding this move into this new house, man. Just like having contractors there every day, running back and forth from here to there is about 30 minutes each way. And it's just been, I'm freaking exhausted at this point, but we're moving in on Saturday. So hopefully things are going to start easing up after that. But I'm definitely looking forward to getting this over with and getting out there.
Yeah. Like I remember whenever Allison and I moved into our house, we moved in 17. It was like the July 4th weekend of 2017. And it was like so freaking hot outside. Literally moved because we bought my brother-in-law's house. So they bought a house, and then their sale of our house was contingent on their sale. So like we moved two houses in one day. It was like me, Fudge, father-in-law, like dudes in a truck and a trailer, just moving two houses in one day. It was insanity.
Fudge helped me move into my house.
I helped
which
Chase
is
move into
which
this
is hilarious
house too.
because which is hilarious because just dude, you want to talk about a stand-up guy. You know your friends if they help you move, right? Like
Yeah.
that is literally the test.
One
And
time, help you
Yeah.
one time.
Dude, Fudge
You
has helped
get
move.
one. You get one. You get one shot.
Fudge has helped move. Helped me move once, and he's helped Chase move twice. So he's done it 3 times. Every time Chase has moved, I've helped him move too. Oh, brutal.
It's brutal.
Moving is I don't even want to think about it because I'm gonna have to probably move at least one more time in my life, and I don't even want to think about it.
Yeah.
You know what? That is an excellent segue. Andretti, do you have a list for me today?
For
speaking of things that irritate people.
Yes, I do actually.
That's what I'm saying. So what a segue there, John Bond. I appreciate you, brother.
So what we wanted to do,
it's almost like we know what we're doing.
The top 3 daily nuisances that you deal with. Now it can't be anything big like I don't like, dealing with Trump lovers or whatever. It can't be something like that. It's got to be something that affects you in your day-to-day life, right? So do you want me to go first? Or you want to go? How do you want to do this, Mongoose?
You want to trade?
Let's trade. We can go around the horn here. Let's go around the horn.
You go first, and I'll go. John, can you think of 3 off the fly?
I got 3 already.
Okay, I was gonna say because I didn't know if you got smartened up or not.
Yeah, I'm gonna give 2 because I got one that's multiple an honorable mention. Okay.
Yeah.
So go. So we'll go Andretti, Baker, me, and then we'll just go around the horn that way.
Okay.
All right. So my first just daily nuisance is the fact that I have the bladder the size of a small child and I piss every 30 minutes. It is such a nuisance. Just up and down all day long, dude. It's so annoying. Like literally if you have to go, like if I'm going anywhere for work, I have to make sure that if I drink my coffee or while we're in transit to like a conference or something like that, we got to find a pisser before we get to the building or wherever we're going. Dude, it's the worst.
Well, the good news for you, Baker, on that is that it doesn't get any better. It actually gets worse as you get older. So
it's gonna be about 15 minutes in like 10 more years.
You better lock in. You better lock in for that.
Just wait till that prostate starts swelling, brother.
This prostate right here is just beginning to swell. And when it gets big enough, brother,
the rugged mule turned into the size of a honeydew.
Okay, so I got 2 that the reason why I have an honorable mention is because 2 of them are related to one thing I have to deal with almost every day. Okay, so the first one is when the gas pump handle won't stay in the car. That drives me out of my freaking mind.
Wait, so you mean like it won't stay clicked? Like
it won't stay clicked.
in the
it won't stay clicked.
position?
Yeah, it won't stay clicked.
Okay, yeah. That's frustrating as all hell.
And because I always try to clean my car out and do the windshield and all that kind of stuff and the whole gimmick when I'm at the gas station, right? And when that thing, I just keep hearing that thing click from the other side of the car, it drives me out of my freaking mind. So I got that one, and then also gas station related. When you got to go inside to get a receipt, brother, I ain't going in there to get a receipt. I'm not going in. I don't need it that bad.
That's a good one.
Speaking of gas stations too, on our way to WrestleMania Night 1, and this reverts right back to my nuisance. I had to piss so bad, and we were in a really bad area, and I almost pissed myself. And I filled up 2 water bottles in the back of Andretti's car on the way to WrestleMania Night 1.
Yeah, he did. That's a shoot.
At least it's sterile. So in case you guys got in a bad way, you'd have been all right to recycle it.
I don't even know what we did with it.
I threw it away.
Okay,
I threw it right in the trash can. There's no way I was letting it wasn't like
rolling under my seat for the last month and a half.
Just to say, maybe hopefully you gave it to the needy.
God.
I didn't mean that the way that.
We're not doing well here.
Yeah.
Tooth and nail, baby. Tooth and nail.
And okay, so my first one that I have is people that are genetically programmed to have to back into spots. I have a serious issue when everybody's pulling in somewhere and I'm waiting to pull into a spot and I got to wait for homeboy that has his turn signal on and the reverse lights kick on. Like, Bretta, I see red, man. I see red. I almost just want to pull ahead and just be like, and just say, test his mettle and play a game of chicken and say, so what are you going to do now? Do you want to deal with this fault? You backing into me, or like, what's it going to be? Because like, here's the thing, dude. I understand the convenience of backing into places. We get to pull out. I totally get it. But when you're in a place or a space where everybody's pulling in, and then you got to be the one person that needs to back into your space, something went wrong somewhere, dude. You didn't get enough hugs, or you got reinforcement in the wrong ways. So that's my big one.
Oh my,
That's excellent.
that is excellent. My number 2 nuisance is Interstate 81. Traveling on Interstate 81 every single day. It is the worst experience that I have in my day. It starts on Interstate 81 and it ends on Interstate 81. It is the worst. And if you travel up and down these roads making towns in South Central Pennsylvania.
Happy life, by the way. John's a very happy person. The worst thing in his day is the way this day starts and ends. God bless you, Allison. God bless you. Somebody send them crystals. Somebody send them flowers. Somebody send them a puppy. Holy cow.
It's so bad. People are just idiots on there.
Dude, I drove 18-wheelers on that road, and it's not any good. 20 years later, it's even worse.
So bad. People are just idiots. They just don't know how to drive. And I mean, it's not bad every single day, but most days it's the worst. Driving on it's not bad, but I get good pod time. So that's about the only redeeming quality that it has. I get good pod time.
The good thing about heading down through South Central PA, down 81 though, is you can stop at that Roy Rogers in Hagerstown.
Right. When you pass all the warehouses.
Yeah.
Yeah. I literally worked at that beside that Roy Rogers, like right down the street from that Roy Rogers for like 5 years, and I never went to it one time.
Well, if you in LA Night cared about Hagerstown as much as you say you did, then you would go in there and have a burger.
Well, I don't, so that's.
Dude, I was just gonna say I'd rather eat bugs and earthworms than eat Roy Rogers, man.
Burgers are good.
I don't understand how they're still in business. I see Roy Rogers up, down, left, and right, all over the mid-state turnpikes. You know, anywhere that there's like major commerce, there's a Roy Rogers, and first off, I never see anybody eating there. So I feel like it's almost like a money laundering gig, like a mattress warehouse.
Yeah.
Like nobody goes and buys mattresses. How there's so many mattress places all over the place. It's straight money laundering. I feel like Roy Rogers is in that same umbrella, man. That we're literally just laundering like CIA cocaine money or something like that through Roy Rogers.
I did eat at one in Frederick before when I went there for a conference one time, and it was okay. It was all right. But the ones that are on the turnpike, they're iffy, and they're never open anymore since COVID. And so like if you're coming home on the turnpike and you want to get some food, you're not getting any food. You're going to have to eat like a bag of chips or some corn nuts, which I'll put over corn nuts while we're here too.
They're never open, but yet they gross $700,000 a spot or whatever, because it's all dirty money being sent through the Roy Rogers.
Greasy money.
So my number 2 is when you pour a drink, okay, and you turn around for 1 second, and then you go back to your drink, and there's a bug in it.
It's a summer problem.
That happens to me a lot more frequently than what it should.
Well, I think that has a lot more to say about you being like Beelzebub bloodline or something like that, man. Where the bugs come to spawn, man. Ooh.
I don't even have a snappy comeback for that one. I thought I might have had something for you, but I ain't got nothing to give you on that one.
Yeah, that is I'll give that to you, Andretti, though. That's a rotten one, because you don't know, should I keep drinking? Should I, it's one of those deals where if it's just you throw it out and you keep going. But if anybody sees it, then you feel obliged to throw your drink out. Do you know what I'm talking about? It's like whenever you're at home and you drop your.
Unfortunately, I do know what you're talking about.
Yeah. So like it's like whenever you're at home and you drop your fork on the floor and like you pick it up and it's like no whatever. You do that in the cafeteria or whatever, and like you got to throw your fork out and get another fork so that people don't think that you're a rotten dirt bag.
Well, that and like 16,000 other kids are like in a cafeteria, and then like they're all stepping in piss and stuff throughout the day.
Good Lord.
I was just going straight peer pressure. I didn't even take P steps into consideration there.
Sorry.
No, it's okay.
Speaking of the Turnpike food court.
Right. Yep, you're in giblets all over the floor.
Yeah.
All right.
Oh man.
So then my second one here, huge problem, dude. If I wave to you, wave back. wave back.
I'm a notorious non-waiver backer.
But then you are the scum of the earth, man.
No,
you are the bug. You're the bug that flies into Andretti's drink. Listen, John, do you know why I'm waving? Do you know why I'm waving? Because it's a nice day and I'm saying hello. Because you're in my neighborhood and driving by and I say hi. Because I let you go and I'm acknowledging, hey, So if you don't wave back, then you need to think about what your morals and values are, because something's wrong.
Okay, I have a caveat to that. So sometimes, in all of the situations that you just mentioned, you're absolutely getting a wave back from me. The only time you're not getting a wave back is like when I go. So like most times I'll like stop into the store in the mornings and I get blinders. I get my blinders on. I'm stepping in the zone here, and I get like tunnel vision. And when I get tunnel vision, all bets are off of what's going to happen. Like it's almost where like I'm literally like living in a tunnel and like that's all I see and that's all I do. I'm really bad at that. And I did that to Allison before this was before we were even dating or married. She saw me on campus and she waved and said hi, and I just boom right past her, stonewalled her.
Well, if you don't see, then it's okay. If you don't see, then there's nothing you can do about it. If you see and you don't do anything, that's a problem. Here's my other thing too, dude. Many dozens, hundreds, maybe thousands of times in my life, I have given a big wave and to somebody that didn't even say hi, because I'm a good person, right? Because if I feel like it's coming to me, then it's coming back to you. So again, if you don't see it, I get it, but dude, wave back. That's all you got to do. Wave back. People in Jeeps wave to each other, for God's sakes. Wave to me for driving through the neighborhood. That's all I'm asking.
See, we wouldn't understand that because it's only a Jeep thing. But the one thing, there's a guy. So I pass a school right before I turn into my work every day, and there's a guy that stands out there every single day. His arm is at a 90-degree angle like this every single day, and his hand goes up every time a car goes by. Hand goes up, and he gets the 2 fingers off the steering wheel every day.
Much respect to that man, dude. When me, Mrs. and baby Mongoose take walks around the neighborhood, every car that drives past not only gets a wave, they get the hand up in the air. I show them the 5 horsemen as they walk past. You know what I'm saying?
Like the big giant closes.
Yeah.
Literally, except instead of it being inverted like a choke slam, they get it open and inviting. And it goes straight up in the sky.
And the reason why, choke slam.
Brother, the reason why is that we're all neighbors here. And if you're not a neighbor, I want you to feel like you could be. Do you know what I'm saying? So then someday, if you happen to be nefarious in or around my property, I want you to think, oh man, that guy waved to me. I better not. Do you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
It's a day-to-day, decent human being community building thing, man. That is absolutely it. There's nothing in this world that is worse than whenever you are walking past somebody and you awkwardly think of something else to do rather than acknowledge them. So just wave to them.
Absolutely.
Simple enough, man. So if you don't wave back, that's all I have to say about that.
I mean, I got none. I got no comeback other than you're probably right.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you.
So this isn't number one on my list, but it is on my list. And the last thing that I have is that when I open up my coffee pot at work and I forgot to take the grounds out from the day before, and I do it every single day, and there's literally there's nothing that I don't even know if there's anything I can do to remember to take the grounds out that I used the previous morning, but they're always there the following morning, and it irritates me to no end. But I do it every single day, and I don't know how to stop it. But it's a nuisance, and it
I feel like
pisses me.
I feel like the answer to your question is to just empty the grounds whenever you're done pouring your coffee.
Correct, but the way my setup is,
you say I don't know how to stop it. I feel like the answer is you, Neo. You know what I'm saying? Like,
right. So it would be a simple answer is that absolutely. So you know what? I just now thought of like how easy it would be to just dump them out. But
we have self-healing here on Toof and Nail.
I
under the Podski umbrella, episode 1.
I get a little self-conscious because my coworker that is in my office with me, he hates the smell of coffee. But
I thought you were going to say he hates people that clean grounds. he came from a very strong compost family, and so if he ever sees you throwing away grounds, you just see a tear falls from his eye, like that Indian in those pollution commercials or whatever they're littering pumpkins and stuff onto the ground.
Yeah, no. So like
pumpkins.
I always get
pumpkins.
I swear everything's
trash. It's not a pumpkin. Oh.
Well, there's another Mandela effect for you, dude, because I'd have sworn a stack of Bibles that they threw a pumpkin at his feet.
What? It's not a pumpkin.
I gotta go look this up.
I think you're just making shit up.
Yeah, I could have sworn that he got
very different. He had a very
different. Why would they be throwing pumpkins? Why would they be throwing pumpkins at Indians?
Could have sworn that he got hit with a gourd.
What? Because we stole their land with the Mayflower?
Yeah, we stole their land and then we threw a pumpkin at them, which is, sort of analogous to that time. Okay, let me see what I got here, guys. You keep talking.
That's definitely the definition of bringing. They brought a pumpkin to a musket fight.
Good Lord.
All right. Do you have screen share on? Do you have screen share on here, John?
I already know what it looks like. It's a bag of trash. It's not a pumpkin.
Look, I just want you guys to take a look. Here we are in a audio medium where we're not able to actually show the audience, but I'm telling you, man.
Well, if you're watching on YouTube, we can always insert this in here.
Yeah. So like, see right there? Like I was just seeing pumpkin. Pumpkin to the left. To the left. Everything you own in a box to the left, right?
Yeah, that orange figure at his feet. Yes,
yeah. Oh, there is certainly a if I'm going back here really quick, there is a bag of trash.
Looks like a bag
that has a pumpkin in it. Well, that guy is a total jerk. If you're just going to toss out bags of pumpkin, man, what is your problem?
Yeah, that guy probably didn't even wave either.
Oh. Yeah. All right. So it was trash, but it looked like a pumpkin. So I think we're both right there.
Okay, fair enough. Didn't mean to go so hard at you there.
No, it's quite all right, man. It's quite all right. We don't find the truth if we don't question everything.
You gotta ask the questions.
Mm-hmm. Amen.
We should get Jesse on Tooth and Nail.
Oh, he'll be here. He'll be here. That's all I have to say about that.
He's down the Baja right now.
He's not here today, so I got
not here today, but he's down in the Baja.
What you got next year, Andretti?
I thought he was up. Or am I up? Who's up?
You're up.
I'm up. Okay. The last one I have, which is the one that drives me nuts the most, is people piling up the recycling in the recycling bin and not taking the recycling to the recycling canister. Like
I don't have that problem here.
Like
I
overflowing.
don't have that. I don't have that problem here.
No. The rule is if you put something in the can, in the trash can, and it keeps the lid from closing, it is your responsibility to take that trash out to the dumpster. That's the rule.
Oh, okay.
See, now here's the thing: is I do not live in the highbrow metropolis that you do, that has a dumpster also involved. So many a time, your man's out here clipping some branches of this so they don't hit the shed or whatever. And I got a little bit of trash that's going to stick up over the top. And so maybe as long as that lid almost goes like this, then we're good to go.
As long as that lid isn't at a 90-degree angle and it's going down, you're good to go.
Yep. Yeah, we don't even have a green bin here, dude. I got trash and I got recycling.
I'm talking about in the house. I'm talking about in the house.
Oh,
like if you got separate recycling in your house.
Forgive me, sir. I had thought that you meant in the community aspect of things.
I actually thought the same as well.
Understand. Yep. Now I completely understand. Yeah. Forgive me, because that would really drive me nuts, because we do not have an inside recycling thing. So the common practice is that we sort of just put recycling like on the side next to the refrigerator. And if I was to walk out and the recycling next to the refrigerator was, just whatever, an incredibly ridiculous amount of things, I would be frustrated that this wasn't taken out to the unit out front. So I concur. I agree. You're good.
Actually, you bringing up recycling here is actually a really great segue into your thoughts on the recycled new Undisputed Championship belt.
Boy, everybody loved that Snoop belt, and now we got it full time.
I forgot it was a Snoop belt. What were you going to say? Or what were you going to say, Mongoose?
Well, I was going to say that I still have one to go here in our little gimmick that we were going through.
I thought Andretti was going last. My fault.
No, it's okay. It's okay.
What do you got?
But no, that was warranted, and that was an appropriate branch off. But you know what, John? While I'm talking, can you pull up a picture of the Snoop belt, please, so I can take a look at it?
Sure can.
Yeah, and so my last one thing that irritates me day to day is absolutely going to be, and this harkens back to what old Jay Bay had said before about urinal issues, but mine's a little bit more personal. As a person who has suffered from stage fright from about the age of 14 on, don't know how it happened, don't know where it came from, but look, man, I got a problem.
Same here.
If I am in a restroom and there is a urinal open at least 2 places away from me and you stand right next to me, I wish all of the worst for you over the next 40 to 50 seconds, however long our interaction is going to last. Who stands right next to somebody while you're in an open space like that, have the potential of, causing some urination anxiety? And I have all kinds of issues with that.
Dude, I totally understand everything you just said there, because if anyone's in the vicinity of like standing, I can't piss in public places. Like if we go to shows, stuff like that, I go into the stall because for some reason, I just can't do it. Like, even if I know that Allison is in the kitchen, like right near where the bathroom is, and I know she's standing there, can't go. I got to have her walk away. And I have no idea where that came from.
Yep.
I have no idea why, but I'll stand there for 20 years and never piss.
Yep. I totally understand.
Well,
I've used stalls forever.
I'll tell you why I use the stalls. If I have the option to use the stall, I will use the stall. Now, if I have to use the urinal, that's fine. But the reason why I choose the stall over the urinal is because of Beaver Stadium. Is because
it's so bad.
And them having those troughs, those trough pissers at Beaver Stadium.
You know that when you go in to take a piss at Beaver Stadium, there's always one dude with his dang hanging way out, pants to his kneecaps, and he's standing there looking at you right in the eye as soon as you turn the corner to come in there.
Bake, you might be too young to remember this, but they used to have just troughs.
I was there for the troughs. Yeah, that's what I'm talking about.
So
the troughs are terrible.
Just brutal.
The last time I was there, I haven't been there since Ooh, I haven't been there since 19, but they still had the troughs in 19.
And my first my first experience with troughs was the Civic Arena, and the Civic Arena is where I first had this sort of community experience. Not a problem whenever I was a youngin', and then once whatever I turned the corner, and then I hit that like high school age-ish, it was party over, man. And I don't know what it was. Like I try to breathe deep. I try to stare ahead. But yeah, dude, if you stand right next to me, there's a problem.
Yep. It ain't happening.
Yep. And the only issue is that it's just going to take me a really long time to go. Like I'm going to stand here until you're done, and then I'm going to go.
Well, then it's even worse because there's people standing behind you that are waiting, and then they know, and then you know that you've been standing there for too long, and then the pressure gets on you, and then you're not going at all. There's been so many times where I've just walked in and I've stood there, nothing's happened, and I just walked right back out and got right back in line. But we got some other stuff that Andretti wants to talk about here. You got anything else you want to talk about?
I just want to say something real quick. Did you guys watch the Dark Side of the Ring from last week? Did anybody catch it?
I have no access to it. It's not on YouTube TV, and the only way I can see it is if I get if I get old season. So I haven't seen it.
I have it. I'll send it to you. It's really good. It's really sad. It's definitely worth checking out. You're going to learn a lot about both of them. And it's not a good story, man. It's not a good story. So that's what it is. So hopefully. I mean, I don't know, man. Tammy's story is really, really crazy, and just the fact that Candido was wrapped up in all of that, and wrapped around her finger for all those years, man. It's really sad. Really sad story to tell.
That's what JC was telling me, because he watched it and he said the same thing. And I have it recorded. I just need to watch it. So, what was this week's show?
Now, I was thinking of that too, and I can't remember what they said, because I listened to. I don't listen to Cornette that much, but I did catch the interview he did with Evan Husney, the guy that's one of the producers on the show.
Mm-hmm.
And he had a lot of really good stuff to say. So that interview with him actually was really good to listen to him. And it sounds like they've got a pretty good amount of content moving forward to do more seasons. So they sounded pretty optimistic about, even more stuff. But it looks like the one for tonight is going to be the Magnum TA story that's going to air tonight.
That I'm actually really interested in. And the only reason I'm like super interested in that, obviously, because it's a huge story in wrestling, is that during COVID, Tony Schiavone, his podcast, What Happened When, they went back and they did all of 86 and 80, they did 85, and then they started 86. And it basically led up right to when Magnum had his accident. And they were like doing the weekly shows every single week, and you were following along with it. It was so good. And Tony had such good recollection of like just remembering like what he was doing when he found out, like how they pivoted it like during the shows and stuff like that. And even though like their running gimmick on the show is that Tony doesn't remember shit, like if that is a series that you're really interested in, I highly recommend like going back to all those WHWs and starting from the beginning and doing the watch-alongs with him, because they're awesome. And that's something that, speaking of watch-alongs, like a little shameless plug here for the Podski, like that's kind of like stuff that we're going to be getting into here a little bit too on the pod, is that we're going to start talking about all kinds of stuff too, like a little more retrospectives instead of everything that we see here every single week. But I wanted to throw that little plug in before we moved on. But yeah, I need to watch the Candido stuff because I heard it was really sad.
Yeah, and the thing with Magnum too, man, the one for saying, now, I'm sure we'll talk about that episode down the road somewhere, the Magnum TA one. But I mean, everybody kind of remembers how big of a deal that was. Even as a young wrestling fan, I remember that being an enormous deal, and how big they were making him and pushing him to the moon, and he was getting the rub from everybody, man. And all of a sudden that happened, and it just changed everything in the world and wrestling, other than what was happening in WWF.
Absolutely.
Oh, and it would be akin to like John Cena. That happened to John Cena in like 2006.
Right.
Do you know what I'm saying? Like being groomed to be your next guy, and not just next guy, but next babyface guy. You know what I'm saying? Like there were a lot of, and again, I was, during his rise, I was either in the womb or, I was just, eating formula on next to a kerosene heater. So yeah, that I'm not familiar with. However, everything that I've heard historian wise has been that like he was going to be that dude. You know what I mean? Like this was a Ric Flair heel territory, and here was going to be your knight in shining armor babyface that was going to be his essentially Sting. You know what I mean? Like
Right.
like to be Sting, but Sting before Sting. And so yeah, it is really wild, man. And also crazy to think about that if there was a Magnum TA, is there a Sting?
Well, yeah, true.
But to butterfly affect that.
Yeah,
That's a good one. That's a good one, Mongoose.
sure. The only other thing that I wanted to bring up that was kind of funny this week, and not funny for Sweet Stan Lane, because I know he's been kind of getting people bothering him about this for years, but the fact that Lauren Boebert's mom was going around telling everybody that Stan Lane was Lauren Boebert's dad, and they had to do two paternity tests, dude, over the course of time to prove it.
Can you drop a "You are not the father" in here right now? Because that would be absolutely perfect.
You are not.
I mean, how embarrassing, dude! How embarrassing is that to have people keep saying that about you? It's just crazy.
Is it more embarrassing for you to be him and then have your name drug into being the dad of a controversial political figure? Or is it to be the political figure that finds out that Stan Lane's not your dad? And it was just some dude bagging groceries and not,
How about the fact that your mom's running around bragging that Stan Lane's your dad?
Yeah.
I mean, could you imagine? I mean, like, think about it. Just put yourself in her shoes. Like, what if your mom was running around telling everybody that Jimmy Del Rey was your dad? Everybody in town thinks Gigolo Jimmy is your father.
I mean, I'm sure that probably happened.
I was just going to say, exactly. Whenever they see the way I move, baby boy, they'd have thought they'd seen those moves before. Something genetic got passed down. But no, I totally understand what you're saying. Like it's weird. It's just weird.
I don't think I'd want my mom running around telling stories about how she used to be a rat.
Right. You're exactly correct.
What are you doing? I'm trying to be president. What are you doing? Anyway, so yeah, that's all I had on that.
Yep. God bless Stan Lane. Happy exoneration.
Happy exoneration for Stan Lane on that one.
Oh my!
You're not to blame for Lauren Boebert, Stan Lane, but I mean, just think about that. Like the fact that people were also really, and look, I'm not her fan at all. I'm not a fan of her political stuff at all. But like the fact that people were criticizing her for being a conservative that divorced her husband. I mean, dude, at some point, enough was enough. I mean, like the stuff that guy was doing, he like exposed himself to people in the bowling alley. I mean, he drove his truck into someone's yard through their fence. He's swearing to people, swinging guns around. Like at some point, can we not blame the wife for not wanting to stick around and be a part of that anymore for the rest of her life? I mean, who cares what political party she's part of?
And we know that she's not the daughter of Stan Lane, because if she was, she'd have hooked him. She'd have made him pay from that stuff right away. Crazy
world, man. Looking for reasons to hate everybody and to hate on everybody, man, and to just criticize people. Even though a lot of stuff that she does, she deserves criticism for, man. But like the fact that people attacked her, people on the right and the left were attacking her for leaving that dude. I mean, come on, man. What are we doing?
Oh my. Do we want to get into this? Do we want to get into this Dominion card?
Warning: the following magic is real. If you even attempt to consider replicating the magifications you are about to see, you will die.
Well, let's talk for about superstar Billy Graham for a couple minutes here, just because it's so recent that it
Oh,
happened.
sure. Yeah. Yeah.
I wanted to just bring this up. I know we've been kind of trying to find time to bring it up, but I really had a lot of fun going back the last week or so, and rewatching a lot of promos that he did, and laughing at some of those promos. And there's the one that I cut the clip out of him, talking about how he's covered in scorpions, or I mean tarantulas rather. He's got a promo where he's got tarantulas all over his face. And he's talking about how he's the toughest guy in the world, and he's ready to get back at it. But I mean, what a career that guy really had, man. And it's just, I know we kind of talked about this at 1.2, just the rift between Vince and his dad, and it really kind of it stems from a lot from this, and just not being able to, not wanting to run with him as the champion when he was the biggest thing in the world. And then wanting to still, run with ethnic characters that are based on, local regions of the country. Like, just taking it from that area into the world where superstar Billy Graham was one of a kind, man. He set the stage for everybody. Everybody. He's the first professional wrestler, if you want to think about it like that. I mean, maybe Gorgeous George has got a claim to that too, but that was a lot earlier than Superstar Graham. But I mean, even the stuff that Graham did, where he set up Hogan and set up Muhammad Ali and things like that, that stuff it's fascinating to learn about that.
Yeah, and that's like when you brought that in. So if you hear the old Superstar Billy Graham promos and you hear him say things like "fly like a butterfly, sting like a bee," like those things they weren't copied from Muhammad Ali. It was actually vice versa, which is mind blowing. Do you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
That those things got lifted from a pro wrestler. Another thing is that not only did he, tee up like the promos of the greatest, drawing boxing card of the 20th century, but in just hearing and reading some of the historical things. With no Billy Graham, we have no real Ric Flair, who was basically like his, Uber driver in and around the territories, where got a chance to, sit and be in the car with him and learn how to promo and learn how to work an audience and learn how to work heel and everything else. Obviously, you have no Hulk Hogan. We have no Governor Jesse Ventura, who, that Jesse Ventura LJN might as well be a Billy Graham LJN, because it's the same person. And then especially whenever you see Jesse, whenever he's doing those Saturday Night Main Events, things that he's wearing, his hair, everything else, it's all totally ripped from Billy Graham. And so not only that, but WWF Superstars, the show, was named after him, literally. WWF started calling their wrestlers superstars specifically because of him, not just wrestlers. And so things get really, really deep here, man. And
I didn't know all this, by the way.
Listen,
you're educating the masses right here, babes.
You come to TNF to TNF. Thursday Night Football. You come to Tooth and Nail, baby, and we are here to educate, man. We're here not only to pontificate, but to educate. But the other crazy thing about that is that he was the complete likeness for the Super Macho Man character in the Punch-Out games.
Yeah.
Huh.
Yeah, look at the stuff he did. He inspired Steiner for 20 years of his career, for Scotty Steiner.
Well, Scott Steiner, not Buff Bagwell, Big Papa Pump is Billy Graham with hair.
Oh my word.
Yeah. Yeah, you're 100% right. I mean, it's such a crazy story. His whole career is such a crazy story, because the guy leaves, WWF, or it might even still been WWF at that point. I can't even remember what the timeline is for that. But he ends up in NWA as a karate guy. He's in there doing karate matches. And it's just an insane career. And him, with the addiction to the steroids and everything else, man, and it just destroying his body and everything. And there's always been that crazy story that he used to tell people about, how he was so addicted to steroids. Like he would lay in bed and he could hear his muscles growing, like ripping. and getting bigger. I mean, that is it's just like one of the craziest things I've ever heard in my life.
Yeah, and not only that, but he also ties into, he was at the time one of the strongest men in the world. He was down there clanging and banging with Arnold and it's not Frank Zane. It was Frank Zane, the little guy. Who's the little guy? Franco Colombo, and then over in Venice Beach in the 70s. Like Billy Graham was a common there. It is a really, really crazy spider web of things that came out from this one person, and people that I would assume that my age is the cutoff. My age of 734 years, that nobody, this unbegotten star time that nobody knows. But I feel like people my age is the cutoff, because here's John that and I learned a lot of things since he passed too, that people are never going to know, man. And it's really, really wild that you had somebody that was this influential, that was this big a deal. And he lived, not only did he live a full life, he lived until 2023. And just now some of this stuff is starting to come out. Pretty wild whenever you look at that.
Just 10 years too early, man. That guy, maybe even only 5 years too early. Because if they would have ran with him whenever Vince Jr. wanted to run with him, and the old man didn't want to do it, I mean, it'd be a different WWF right now than what it was. Because they're like you said, there's no need for Hogan at that point when you've got that guy. But what people also don't really understand about that guy is just the size of that guy. He was way, way bigger physically than what anybody really, really understands. A lot of fans don't realize how big that guy really was.
That was awesome. I loved that. I could go for more Billy Graham talk.
Well,
the craziest thing, John, seriously, is, and we can send you some of these whenever we're done, but he was the Muhammad Ali promo. Like that was the thing that like slapped me in the face, because I heard that he was the inspiration, quote unquote. And then since he had passed, I heard actual snippets of him on the microphone saying, and I'll fly like a butterfly and I'll sting like a bee. And like all of these things that then Muhammad Ali just ripped and then just took into the mainstream. And these were all Billy Graham lines.
Wow.
Dusty Rhodes, with no Billy Graham, there's no Dusty Rhodes. Because Dusty was a huge fan of his. So
and without no Dusty, there's no Flair too.
Yep. And well, Flair was his bad guy, drove him around. And Dusty, whenever Billy was in Florida or whatever the story was, that's why if you look at all those early 80s Dusty's things where he's wearing the fur coats. So before like Hard Times, quote unquote, when he has on fur coats and he has on sunglasses and he has a Jerry curl and all those are all very, very Billy Graham adjacent things that were all lifted there. He's the first one that said daddy, like Dusty Rhodes ripped the daddy from Billy Graham.
Oh, okay.
It's pretty deep, dude. It really is.
Now, look, I'm not as big of a historian as what a lot of other people are out there in the world, but is he the first heel that got cheered a lot, like by a lot of people? I mean, it seems like he was really like the first heel champion that people were the first cool heel, man. It really feels like that's what it was.
Well, the thing about that is that that the Observer thing had said, and it was actually really cool. They listed all the MSG sellouts by person, and in the Observer, the words were that his proudest achievement out of everything was that he had sold out MSG X amount of times, and it was only less than Bruno.
19 out of 20, I think.
Yeah, and it was only less than Bruno for the number, and the percentage was insane. And that was his claim to fame, was that I was on the top of the billing and people came to see me. So, yeah, very well could have been.
Yeah, 6'2", 275 is what I saw online just now, looking at just how big that dude. You think about that, a 6'2" guy, 275.
That's huge.
Is enormous. Absolutely enormous. But yeah, man, go back and watch some promos of that guy, and you're going to hear words come out of his mouth, and you're going to hear phrases come out of his mouth that we've heard for 30 years over and over again since then. It all originated with Billy Graham. You know, the thing I wanted to say too, real quick, man, and we don't really got to get into this, but you know that the fact that there just hasn't been really as much appreciation for that dude over the course of time as what there probably should have been. And, you know, it's a shame that it takes somebody's death for people to really start to appreciate who they were. And it's not just Billy Graham, man. It's everybody and everybody that's ever lived. You know, we don't really appreciate people until they're gone. But, you know, it's startling how much he did in the wrestling business and how much he inspired. And, you know, it's just now starting to come out where that's probably he might be a top 5 guy ever. Billy Graham might be a top 5 guy ever.
Well, you know why? It's because so many top guys jack their act from him. So why is Muhammad Ali going to say, "Oh, these lines are great. Yeah, I got them from Billy Graham"? He's not going to.
Right.
You think Hulk Hogan's going to say, "Oh, Hulkamania, brother. Yeah, I'm just Billy Graham, but a baby face"? Not going to happen. Ric Flair think about the ego on Ric Flair, dude. He's still doing shows, drinking glasses of wine or whatever after he was on death's door. Like, he'll shout out these people, but he's not really gonna say that, yeah, I jacked this from him or whatever. Dusty Rhodes is gone, so you know that we couldn't get his input. And so these people that have been, you know, forever kind of people, they're of course they're not going to say, "Oh yeah, I totally jacked my act from this guy." And that's the main reason why, is that everybody splintered and turned into huge top guys, and they all were part of him, and none of them were going to admit it.
Yeah,
it's basically it.
That's awesome. Great job by both of you bringing the heat for that.
Hey, rest in peace, brother. You know, rest in peace. You had a big influence on this whole industry that we love so much. You were a major part of it, and we can't thank you enough for what you did.
Andretti, I would be remiss. Treat the audience, please. Could you tell us about a tribute idea you had to Billy Graham in the mid 2000s that actually was taken foot?
Yeah, we can tell that story. So look, I want to.
I think it's perfect. Go ahead.
I want to preface this by saying that telling this has got nothing to do with royalties or even credit. I don't even want credit for anything. Okay, I really don't. But you know, it's just crazy to me how you just get intertwined with people in the universe, right? Whether you ever meet these people or not. So yeah, for whatever reason, I just became intertwined with superstar Billy Graham over this one thing. So, you know, in the early to mid, probably mid 2000s, there was a very prominent guy that was involved in wrestling action figures that was all over the message boards for the wrestling figure talk. Okay, because collecting at that point, you know, the internet was still relatively young, and there were a lot of people that were kind of gravitating towards each other in different message boards and things like that. Now, look, this is confirmed. This is a confirmed thing. It was really him that was on the board. I interacted with this guy all the time about different figures and about ideas about things and whatnot. And there were like 100 of us on there or whatever that would go on there and talk about the wrestling figures that were out at that time and collecting, and you know, the Remcos and the Hasbros and everything. And it just became its own little community. And this guy had found it, and he was a collector too. So he was coming in there and posting and asking ideas and asking for people's, you know, feedback on certain things and whatnot. And one time, you know, and again, this is a real thing. I told him I had an idea for a figure that would look like he was on a black and white TV. And about 6 months later, maybe a year later, the figure got made. So the guy that was on the board got back to me, and he thanked me tremendously, and he was very appreciative of me giving him that idea. He loved the idea. And then about, you know, 6 months or a year later, that black and white superstar Billy Graham hit the shelves.
Is that the classic superstars stuff?
Yes.
It is.
We all know who ran that.
And again, I'm not looking for credit or nothing. I don't want royalties. I don't want nothing. I have the figure in the package. That's enough validation for me, to just know that I came up with the idea for that figure, and for it to be somebody as important as Billy Graham and what Billy Graham has done for this industry that has given me a lifetime worth of friendships and a lifetime worth of great memories and great times in my whole life. That's been a constant in my life since I was a little kid. That means a lot to me. It means a lot to me for me to have that figure still in the package and to know that I was the one that came up with that idea.
Look at you, you trailblazer. That's so awesome.
Yeah, and here's something I have to say is that the fact that Andretti has this in the figure, Andretti is a trailblazer of people that kept toys in the package. And so I wish so bad that I had the foresight that he did as a Ute, because when I was young, whenever I had $5 or $10, I'm going to the 3 for $5 bin at KB and I'm ripping open everything that's there. And I'm not thinking of anything else. And Andretti he's a true visionary, man, because he's got with the KB stickers on him, he's got, the Bret Hart Hasbros with the dark skin and with the light skin, with the pink sunglasses and with the silver sunglasses. He's got a Panthro that he picked up randomly at a hardware store whenever he was 9 years old. Dude gets it. And the fact that he has one of those that was OG bought, that was originally kept, I don't know. I think the universe tells us and then it shows us. And I feel like it told him whenever he was going to give his ideas, and it showed him whenever he went, and then they made that figure. And I hope someday that figure is worth more than the price of the LA home that Andretti bought so that he can sell it and live debt-free for the rest of his life. That's where I'm at.
Look at that.
Well, hey, man, I really appreciate all of that, man. I mean, thank you for saying all that. I mean, look, man, it doesn't matter to me if that figure's worth $10 or $1,000. For me, like it's priceless. It is a priceless thing. That is a part of my life that is out there now in the universe that I'm really proud of.
I don't even know what even I don't even know where to even go from here, because that was awesome. And I love that we got that here on this show.
Yeah, and the thing about it is that if the 3 or 300,000 million people that listen to this show say, yeah, that's awesome, or dude, he's a liar, who cares? Like the fact of it is that like I've known this story for a long time, and I'm very glad that you got a chance to share it with everybody. And to be honest, if your boy been looking to hear DG beige, he's trying to walk down this Andretti road with you, because I'd like to have me a B&W Super Macho Man put somewhere up here on the wall, just to say that because Andretti, you know what I'm saying? Like I think that's a great idea.
I think I bought it on eBay for like $50 a couple years ago.
Because that's what I have in my man cave right now. I have a lot of in-box, like all my AEW stuff is all in box. And so I tried to keep that same energy that you did. So trying to follow in the small little footsteps that you've left behind here for some of us to walk in. So but yeah, that's awesome. I'm glad that we got that on here.
That's the first time I ever told anybody. I mean, I know I told like you guys that, and my wife obviously knows about it, but like, and I might have told DeGraws or somebody like that, or even Dolan or somebody or over the years, but I've never really even told that story to anybody. I've always kind of just been like really, really proud of it on my own and happy that it was just out there in the universe. And I've never, like I said, I've never even contacted the guy that greenlit that figure and told him that. And I probably never will. And look, I'm sure I'll run into him at some point at a convention or something, and just run into it. I don't think I'd even bring it up, to be honest with you. I'm just happy that it got made.
That figure is a limited one of 3,000.
Yeah, I told my mom that story whenever Billy Graham died, and she just said, "Wow." And I tell you what, coming from Mama Mongoose, it's a pretty big thing.
As long as
That's
I can,
awesome.
if I can
Yep.
pop Mama Mongoose, that's all I care about. I just want to pop her.
That's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying.
That's
Dude,
awesome.
I'm so inspired. I'm so
I know,
inspired.
right?
I just put an offer for a Billy Graham.
We're but yeah, we got one more thing to talk. We got this Dominion show. Did you guys get the chance to check this show out?
Did I ever?
You probably watched from start to finish.
Well, this is gonna be a tale of two cities, because I Sunday woke up, told the family, the Mongoose family, the Mongeese, all right, Mrs. Mongoose and baby Mongoose. I said, Mongeeses, we got things to do today, but Daddy's got to watch him a Dominion show. And I was able to make it through the first 2.5 hours, and then I got cut off by the rest of the day. The plan was to finish tomorrow. Didn't happen. I was able to do it today, but holy cow, man! Baby Mongoose, last day of school was today. I do not know if they just left every kid go with a shot to the arm of methamphetamine or what had happened. But dude, stuff was wild until bedtime, and so I got notes on everything up until the last 3 matches, which is what I was able to see today, which stinks because they were probably the 3 best matches. But yep, I'm here to rock guys.
Yeah, and I was trying to make sure that I came prepared, because I've been saying for a long time that I want to watch the New Japan show. So I didn't have enough time before the show to watch the whole entire show, but I started at the El Phantasmo show or match, and I made it the whole way to the end. So I saw the last 4 matches.
I mean, that card was excellent. It ended up being an unbelievable show, man. The build to it was interesting. I mean, look, I know I criticize, Ghetto on the show almost every week, but they're always in a state of flux. It seems like that promotion feels like they're almost always in a state of flux, and they lose people here and there, and they're a live production, live event business. They've got to get butts in the seats to make money, and that man, what a venue! I mean, for that place only holding 7,000 people for wrestling, that Osaka Joe Hall looked like it could hold 70,000 by the way that thing is constructed and the way that roof looks. So that was just a really great thing. But the thing too that I want to talk about, the first time it ever really hit me was, I mean, how much better is their system where they value more so the number of defenses versus the length of the reign.
Yeah, I think that is really important, and especially whenever you want to juxtapose that with my biggest complaints from the bloodline thing. I bend the knee to you, dude. Especially this past SmackDown, I did not see the whole episode, but I did see the first 45 minutes, and that first 3-ish minutes of SmackDown where they were able to go timeline through and show you everybody Roman's eclipse. Dude, that was masterful. Yeah, it was mastery, man. But the fact that in New Japan, and the funny thing about that is that I recall whenever Okada had eclipsed 10 defenses, that it was a huge deal as the world champion. And so, yeah, dude, like I think to me that this just goes to show the difference between Japanese and American production, because I was watching the show and Mrs. Mongoose is like, basically like this feels different. And I was like, oh yeah, well, this is sport. Do you know what I'm saying? Like we know how the sausage is made or whatever, but like this is sport presented here. Whereas in the US, it's all pageantry and show and sports entertainment. So yeah, it's a really good point.
So jumping right into it. I mean, that first match, and there's a couple matches here we don't need to really get into, but I mean the whole thing was excellent, man. And if you haven't had a chance to sit down, I know it was a 4.5 hour show, but if you're looking to go back and watch an awesome show, this show was a lot better than what I even anticipated. I knew it was going to be a phenomenal show that they were going to put on, but they did an even better job than I even thought. But that first match, I'm not the biggest fan of Lance Archer right out of the gate, but I mean that guy looks so good when he's in there working with people who have their shit together, man. He looks so good. I mean, and Archer looked great in that match because he was in there with the guy that, in my honest opinion, is the greatest wrestler in the world right now, is Will Ospreay. I mean, that guy is just, everything is just firing on all cylinders for that guy, man. And that match with Archer, he really made Archer look like $1 million. I thought that it was way better than I expected.
Yeah. So to go back to the very beginning of the show, right, where they're going through what the matches are going to be and everything, in sequential order, I had written down Kenny Omega is my favorite wrestler, Great O'Khan is my favorite wrestler, El Phantasmo is my favorite wrestler. Like as they were going through through the match card or whatever. Also, I need to say that forgive me because I don't have it written down right in front of me, but what is it? Yoji? Help me with the main event here, Andre.
Yoda
Suji.
Yoda Suji. Thank you. So, for Yoda Suji, I might have seen Yoda Suji wrestle before.
You did because he was a young lion that we talked about like 5 years ago.
Okay, I was just gonna say because he was really I had no recollection of him. I didn't want to discount him. Obviously, he's in the main event here. But the first thing I wrote down was Sonata versus Japanese Jesus. Because that was like the look that I had here. Like, dude, he's glowing off the screen. You know what I'm saying? Like, he has a look. And I'll get into him later because I have everything in the world good to say about this guy.
Yeah.
But the fact that they started with Archer and Ospreay, I felt was very non-New Japan-ish. Because this is a Dynamite-ish, like an AEW-ish type start where you're starting hot. And having watched New Japan pay-per-views for the last 4 or 5 years, they are a promotion that starts from the bottom and then they build up.
Yeah, and usually you would have got like a Young Lions Battle Royal or something like that.
Yeah. And so the fact that this was first, I literally put Archer and Ospreay to start with bunch of exclamation points. The things that I need to put over here is first, Archer is so good and also a geek, and I blame his hair.
Dude,
I blame his hair,
sucks.
dude.
His hair's so bad.
I blame his hair. He's a monster. As Andretti just said, if you put him in there with somebody that can go, this guy can go to the moon. The problem is, and the reason why I think that he can't be left to trust with the rocket ship himself is, dude, that hair is so bad. It's so bad. And really so bad. Change your hair and maybe you're fine. Archer did a Leonidas kick to the outside to Ospreay, and I popped really big. Basically kicked him right into that, portal of doom. And then Archer hit a Spanish fly. It got cut off, was awesome. And then the other thing here is that I have written again, he's so great and he is bad. And the reason why is that he's presented so poorly by every promotion. And I feel like the reason why is they don't know how to present him. And it's not a him problem, but it's kind of a him problem. You know what I mean? Like if you had a better presentation for yourself.
If it's the same across the board, you're the problem.
Yeah. Like you can, people want you to be the guy. So help them help you be the guy. And then that hidden blade kick out where Archer kicked out at 1 off the hidden blade, I freaking died. But then 4 straight killer hidden blades to pin the man. I thought it was excellent, man. I did. I thought it was excellent. And then I was even more surprised because I was Will Ospreay called out Kenny Omega at Forbidden Door. And to me, Kenny wins. And Ospreay wins at Wembley.
At Wembley. Yep. Absolutely.
Yep. But this was awesome. This was an awesome opener.
Yeah, it was great. I mean, I like you said, man. I mean, look, I don't know what the deal was with Archer, but I mean, he's made a pretty good career for himself, just being who he is. But not everybody can be the guy, and sometimes you need somebody in there with you that is really talented that can make you look a lot better. And I think that's what people got to do with him. You got to treat that guy like that, and that's what's going to make him stand out above other people. But him on his own, carrying things, I'm not sure is the always the best option.
Yeah, and I feel bad for him too, because like he had a killer feud with Juice Robinson. He had a killer feud with John Moxley. Like, these things have all happened, and he's been a common denominator. And the problem is that he just isn't guy enough. And I feel like part of the reason he's not guy enough is because he has braids that go to his butt. I hate to say that, man, but like, I don't know. To me, it's a presentation problem too. I don't know.
You're not wrong. I don't think you're wrong at all about that. And the music is what kills it for me a little bit too.
Oh, music sucks.
Yeah. But anyway, match 2, Tai Chi, Kanemaru, Doki, and Taka Michinoku versus Bushi, Titan, Takagi, and Naito. So that was, I mean, look, the first thing that I really loved about that, man, I can't tell you how much I love that there are people who are in New Japan Pro Wrestling factions that are outside of New Japan. And the fact that, like, Titan is a member of LIJ and he wrestles predominantly in CMLL. Like, I very much appreciate that. I like when there's some cross promotion, cross pollination between different promotions, and New Japan's really good about doing that. So I don't know, maybe they're just easy to work with other people with IP and trademarks and things like that. But I love the fact that Chris Bay and Austin, what's that guy's name? God, I just drew a blank on that guy's name, but that guy's really good. The two guys that are in Impact that are in the Bullet Club.
Chris Bay.
Chris Bay. Who's the other guy? What's his name? I forget, man.
Chris Bay's the only one I knew. I didn't know another one.
I forget.
I forget too. I don't know why I'm drawing a blank on that, but I love the fact that those guys are in the Bullet Club, but they exist outside of New Japan. But that's
what Ring of Honor was that way for years. Like, yeah. That's what Ring of Honor was, the American sort of feeder system. You know what I'm saying?
I don't know what commentator was singing, but whoever was singing the intro for Just Five Guys and making up their own lyrics. I mean, dude, that popped me to freaking Jupiter.
Five guys.
Dude, I popped to Jupiter.
Five guys. Yeah, I know what you're talking about.
That was so funny. But look, and the thing too, like Naito taking forever to get undressed always pops me every single time. It takes him 20 minutes to get undressed for the match. It's awesome. It's weird to me too about this match, just about like the state of New Japan right now in general, that where Takagi's kind of getting treated like just another guy. And that is weird to me because I don't think he is. I think he's a main event guy. I don't know why they've kind of pushed him to the back burner a little bit on that. I'm not sure.
Yeah, and so I guess so is like the spin cycle essentially in what you have over there, where you have guys that get a chance to drive the ship, and if they don't do well, then you move them to a mid spot or whatever. And so at the end of the day, when Shingo was driving business, he would have been, and this isn't his fault, but this would have been pandemic era, same thing as like Evil, is that like business wasn't going well. And so let's pull these guys back and let's see what we can do with some new guys. And so because we have a new world champion and we have a fresh world championship scene, I don't have too much of an issue with that. The other thing is we have G1. So that doesn't say that Shingo doesn't either win G1 or beats Sonata in G1 and gets a championship match afterwards. You know what I'm saying? So I feel like there's that there. Few things that I noted for this one at the start is that Bushi taking off an entrance mask for another mask makes me really, really happy. I love when people have multiple masks on just to get started. I have Taka Michinoku. Michinoku looks better than he did in 1997. And I have that Kevin Kelly liked Doki less of a he thought he was a not a top guy, more of a like a party guy, and then he learned how to wrestle. And he literally said that on the commentary, that Doki was this like geekish sort of dude that learned how to work. And the fact that he said that on commentary to put over Doki, I thought was really cool. My wife also asked about why the Japanese like grunt so much. Specifically whenever Shingo was in there and, letting it fly.
Did you say that's racist?
No, well, here's what I said was that I was like, here's the thing is that it's presented more as sport. And so if I'm going to throw a hard forearm at any enemy, I'm probably going to make a sound. And so if I'm just exhaling hard, I'm working it. But if I'm every time I'm throwing a blow, then I'm putting my everything into it, which actually sort of drew her into the show a little bit more, to say that like, hey, I know it's a work, but like they're presenting this as sport, even though, I've been watching New Japan shows here in the house for the last 5 years. It was an interesting take from her to be like, why is this happening? And then for me to explain why. I love. They did the formula of heat, hot tag. I thought it was awesome. And then the finish, man, I thought the finish was awesome. That Teton tapped Taka Michinoku. Perfect guy to get the win. Perfect guy to take the fall, whatever you'd like to say. And I thought the submission was awesome. That
guy has looked so good, man. Teton. I mean, I loved him in CMLL too, and I was watching those there almost every week. But I mean, even Tai Chi has looked so much better this whole year so far than what he did, previously to that. So hats off to that guy too. But I mean, going back to Doki, I've come around on him too, I think, and I thought for sure he was going to win the Super Juniors, but he didn't. But yeah, man, the ending of that match with Teton tapping out a legend, that was a hell of a way to end that match.
And I think that Taka Michinoku is a great fit for that group, man. I really do. Like a legit guy that can always take the fall, so he's credible. That also makes your group credible. I think it's awesome.
Yeah, for sure. Anything else? Bake, did you get a chance to check that one?
No, I only saw the last four. I have nothing until the Phantasmo match.
Okay, so then the third match was Kevin Knight and Kushida versus Francisco Akira and TJP. The first, I mean, what I wrote down about that, I mean, all four of those guys are excellent, dude. They're all so good. It's two really awesome teams. Kevin Knight, man, and Francisco Akira they've got real shots to be stars in that industry for a really long time. Those guys are just phenomenal already. And they're neither one of them have been around all that long, and they both are just doing such a good job already. But, I had a feeling here that they might add belts to the United Empire with Aussie Open out. I was thinking about the kind of the card layout and kind of the direction moving forward before the show on Saturday when it came on. But I kind of had a feeling they were going to flip those belts back to Akira and TJP. But I'm really interested to see where Kushida goes with this and where he ends up by Wrestle Kingdom, because I mean he's got so much to offer, and he's so versatile right now that it feels like that they're building towards the storyline here of this guy can't get a win. What's going to happen to him? What are we doing? And something big is going to happen with Kushida. And I'm interested to see where that's going to go. But yeah, then we can. Yeah, what Mongoose? What did you have to say about that before we talk about the ending?
So I had that first. Kushida looks like Kodiak. That when I look at Kushida, I see my beautiful American Eskimo Kodiak. There is something that twinkles in his eyes that I haven't felt the same way since that New York Jets coach. What was his name? The one that couldn't beat Bill Belichick, or he beat Bill Belichick once. Spygate.
Is that Rex Ryan?
No, before Rex Ryan. He's the one that looks like an American Eskimo. Help me out, John.
Oh, geez. I don't know. I try to erase everything Jets since I'm a diehard Dolphins fan.
I think he was the Spygate Jets coach. He looked like Kodiak as well. But whenever I saw Kushida, man, I was like, man, I see my pup in this guy. Here's the thing is I have a good match with a kind of weird finish. The fact that Kushida did a spot to the outside and then like disappeared for the leaning tower, I thought was a little weird. You know what I mean? Like it wasn't like they showed him like taking a spill and then being gone or anything like that. Like, and so I don't know if that was meant to layer into this or whatever, but I do have written down here that Kevin Kelly notes another black eye for Kushida. Comeback story, question mark. So this goes back to what we talked about last week with the best of the new Super Junior stuff. Is I think that the groundwork's being laid, man. What do you think about the post match?
You're talking about groundwork's being laid for Kushida to go on a run to get his credibility back. Oh
yes,
yeah, no doubt.
yes,
There's
yes,
no doubt.
yes.
But is it going to be as a heel or a face? Is my question, because
Well,
that like we were saying, like that guy. I mean, you know, during that Phantasmo versus Finley match, Kevin Kelly made a really good point of saying that New Japan Pro Wrestling is not really a place where you want to be a loner that can't call for backup. And I thought that was a really good point about New Japan.
Yeah, I literally have that written down too.
So with that being said, do they put Kushida in a group or do they give Kushida a group? I don't think he's going to be a lone wolf guy. And again, I think that you could go a lot of different ways with that.
Kushida, I hate to say it, man, because it's a trope, but if you get a like a time splitter club shirt, things gonna sell, man. Things gonna sell. You know what I mean? Like if you find a clever way to work the Back to the Future thing into the Bullet Club, and if it's going to be an army of killers, which you've mentioned this before, that could actually work, dude. Especially because he can't seem to get out of his own way.
Yeah.
But I thought the angle at the end of this was awesome. With
so did I did too.
With Clark Connors and help me with the guy that came out with him,
Dan Maloney.
Thank you. Yeah, I thought that the angle at the end was great, and I really like where this is going, especially because you have people that just were in the best of the Super Juniors that weren't winners of the best of Super Juniors that sort of quote unquote made a name. You're putting over your new faction or your rebranded faction better. I thought I thought match was good. I thought finish was interesting only because of Kushida's like total disappearance. And then the post match I thought was awesome. So I thought everything here was A-okay.
How great is it seeing Kevin Knight do those drop kicks on somebody else's shoulders? That's how high that guy can get off the ground, man. That's crazy.
Yep.
Love Kevin Knight.
He's a heck of an athlete, man.
Yeah, Kevin Knight. I'm looking forward to watching that guy, hopefully for the next 20 years. And then for the next one, I didn't have much for this next match. I like both these guys a lot. You know, Jeff Cobb and Zack Sabre Jr. I mean, look, I love TMDK. You guys know that, and I've come around more on Zack Sabre Jr. and I'm really starting to enjoy his matches. But I think you made a very interesting and good point a couple weeks ago about if you're going to give me 15-minute matches with Zack Sabre Jr., I'll watch every one of them. But I'm not watching him wrestle for 30 minutes.
Yeah, that's just it, dude. Is joint manipulation gets old fast. But if it's joint manipulation, the first thing I have written here, 100 or 1 million miles per hour to start, is that these guys were pedal to the metal the entire way. So if Zach wants to grab a hold and manipulate a joint or whatever, the fact that he's racing against the clock makes it more interesting. If it's him and with a 60-minute time limit, he might have that arm bar for 4 minutes. And look, man, like I don't appreciate the old sport that much for me to be like, oh, I see what they're doing. Right. Like, you know what I mean? And so I think that him being in this particular realm is perfect for him, especially as far as watchability goes. I love the finish, man. I absolutely love the finish here.
That counter for the pin I thought was amazing.
And here's one thing I need you to know is that when there's a crucifix pin, a crucifix finish or a crucifix pin, I always go back to I learned the crucifix from Marty Jannetty whenever he made his comeback after he had left the Rockers and he was on his IC title run, sort of mini run there. And John Richards had come to my house one time, and it was me, John Richards, another neighbor boy, and we were having us a little, shoot wrestling match. And I pinned the 3 years older than me, John Richards, with a crucifix because I learned it from Marty Jannetty. And so forever in my heart, the crucifix always holds up. But shout out to Richards Raceways. If you're ever in Elton, go ahead over there. Give them your money if they're open.
I thought you were going to shout out to Marty Jannetty. I was hoping you were trying to get a spot on Dark Side of the Ring to be included in an episode.
No, man, I'm just trying to make sure that people go to Richards Raceways, grease the pads, spin the cars around there, pay your money, whatever. But please know that the son of the owner was pinned by a crucifix in my dad's playroom when I was about 9 years old.
That's right, and people still talk about that match. That was a hell of a match.
I had that written down for years and years and years.
All right, so the next match. Look, I had a lot of anxiety over this next match because I knew there was two sets of tag team belts on the line here, and we can talk about that forever if we want to. We probably don't need to go too much into it, but Bishamon versus Great O'Khan and Aaron Henare versus Evil, who I do not like at all, and Yujiro Takahashi, who I do not like at all. So I was very much glad that they made this a three-way. I know I've complained to the two of you over and over again the last couple of weeks about it, just feeling lazy that they were going to put both those tag team belts combined already after New Japan Strong had only been around for a little while. But I just confused. I mean, I don't know why we would unify those belts. In my opinion, they should have held a tournament for the Strong belts. But look, I'm not Gato. Whatever. He gets paid a lot of money to do what he does. So do whatever you want. But I don't really know what we see in House of Torture at this point. I'm not a fan at all, but I was really, really happy about this match, man, because it was just wall-to-wall action the whole way through it. It was way, way better than what I expected. Very happy with the ending of that match. I thought the right people won at the end. But I'm looking forward to what you got to say about it, because those guys everybody just went 100 miles an hour in this match, and it was pretty awesome to watch.
Yeah, so I have written here, Great O'Khan is my favorite. Kevin O'Kelly says, if Yujiro wins, I'll eat my hat, which that popped me really big. Because there was heat put on by House of Torture, and Yujiro got a couple of near falls. And so he said, if Yujiro wins, I'll eat my hat. I also have written down, I hate House of Torture and their matches. Dick Togo is so bad. And then the last thing I've written is Yujiro eats the pin match. Thank God. So basically what I have here is that I was at where you were, I had minimal to low expectations for this one, being that I know that the plans were for Aussie Open to be in this match and obviously quite possibly retain, and then roll this into a FTR match at the Forbidden Door pay-per-view. And I'm sure that if they had their big board of things up, that's what it was going to be. They got dealt, a little bit of a wild card there. And so, yes, I'm completely happy with what had happened. The fact that it wasn't Evil and Yujiro is the best decision, and the match was good. So I got no complaints on my end.
Bishamon's good. Bishamon is good.
Right. No, if it's not going to be Aussie Open, Bishamon can go in there and they can beat anybody. And the thing is they can legit beat I don't know how this is going to get booked now with the main event and stuff. But let's say it's even the Young Bucks or someone like that. Bishamon can beat the Young Bucks and it's going to be a great match and no one's going to get mad. You know what I mean? The Young Bucks have went there and they've eaten pins for the New Japan Tag Team Championship for, years and years and years. Or, maybe it is a FTR kind of deal or whatever, or maybe you put them on FTR and then we have another switch whenever we go to Wembley, so there's a whole lot of things that can go on in between. So yeah, I'm with you, man. It'll be interesting to see where things go. The other thing that I have afterwards is BC War Dogs, whatever. With it being Coughlin and Gabriel Kidd, they made that big thing about them at the end, and I don't know. Maybe I don't watch enough Strong, but
That was
I was
a fart
yawning.
and wet. That was a wet fart in church. That's whenever I came into the show, and I was just like,
I was
yeah.
Well, hang
yawning
on, because
whenever that was on.
Coughlin was in one of the prelims before Resurgence, and we all liked him.
Oh,
He's
I
pretty
agree
good.
with you.
He's good.
I'm saying for that to be their big thing. I was like, you know what I mean? Like I'm not saying that it won't work. What's
They've
that?
got to make stars, man. That's just who it. I mean, look at how good of a job they've done just over the last couple months with. I mean, even the past year with Yoshihashi. Look at how good of a job they've done building him and Sonata and Watto. I mean, like they've gotten pretty lucky that those people that were like lower mid card guys or mid card guys have been able to elevate, because it didn't seem like they were ever going to get to that point. But now they've got the Yoshihashis of the world are actually starting to step up and do a really good job. I think Bishamon is a top 3 or top 5 tag team in the world, man. They're pretty damn good.
What do you think of the G1 announcement?
Well, a couple things about it. So it was about what I expected. The great thing about it was I think there's 10 debuts. There's going to be 10 new guys in the G1, for the first time ever, which is awesome. It was really, really good to see Tonga Loa come back. He hasn't been around in a long time. I mean, having Eddie Kingston there, I think is pretty cool to get to see him, go back and forth with a lot of those guys. And the only other note I really had about that, I don't know anything about this Kiyama guy from Pro Wrestling Noah. I just don't ever have a chance to watch Noah, but everybody popped hard for that guy, man. When they announced that guy was going to be in the G1, that whole building erupted. So that guy must be pretty damn good.
Yeah, I had Kingston with an underline exclamation point, because I do not know. I don't know, man. I'm not there every day, so for me to comment on like what's going on there, I have no idea. But I feel like everything they've done with him leaving AEW and being in Ring of Honor has just been weird. And so
very weird. It's very weird.
I feel like the G1 is a great reset spot.
Yeah.
So you almost make him like a free agent again. Do you know what I mean?
Sure.
So if we're going to treat AEW and Ring of Honor kind of different, the fact that if he can go to G1 and maybe make a final, which who would complain, or even go there and just have a great showing and say, I pinned Sonata, or I pinned, name guy, top guy X, I think is a really good way to reinvigorate interest in him. And so out of all the AEW guys that could have been there that I would like to have seen, I actually think that he's like a really, really good one to have there, because you can make him a guy, because people already cared about him before. And now giving them more of a reason to care about him, I think is a really good idea. Also, I popped huge because Chase Owens and Yano were in there, and you were just complaining about the Best of Super Juniors lineup. So there's 2 guys that are going to win 1 or 2 matches tops, that they're there to take L's, and Yano will tie ropes around people and stuff like that. So
the thing about Kingston too is that he's kind of like an Ishii in the sense that people love that guy, man. And whether or not he wins matches or loses, or he's, 50-50 booking or whatever it ends up being. Look, Eddie Kingston's not going to win the G1, but he might go 50, he might go 500 or a little over 500, and that's great. And people are going to love every match he's in.
And if he made a block final, that's what I'm saying. I'm not saying he's going to win it, but if he made a block final, how good would that match be, first off? And second off, if he comes back, could you imagine him on the stick saying, I beat me and you. Yeah, I beat everybody, including Yamada, including Tanahashi, and I beat, you know what I'm saying? Like just going off on the microphone about the people that he was able to overcome. I think that this is awesome. I think this is a perfect place for him to be.
Absolutely. And then Baker, did you get a chance to catch that one?
Yeah, I saw it.
You jumped in on the next one. That's right. You jumped in on that. Okay.
Yeah, I saw the announcement list. I think it's cool that, I was kind of expecting maybe somebody a bigger, another surprisier name other than Eddie Kingston on that list, but but yeah, I'm excited for it. I'm ready to roll. We got that's coming up in a couple. It's coming up soon. So
Middle of the month, middle of July. So we got about what 5 weeks till the
yeah,
G1. But look, again, I don't know much about that dude from Pro Wrestling Noah, but that place went nuts. So that might be a big breaking out party for that guy.
yeah.
Then the next match we had El Phantasmo versus Finley. I didn't have too many notes for this. I just wrote down, I'm starting to like Finley more and more, the more that I see him, and kind of settling into that role, and it's kind of settling in my brain how they booked it to get him there. But look, I like this Bullet Club group a lot. I think everybody in there is a good fit. I'm a little concerned that they're all white guys at this point, unless we're trying to book it just to sell T-shirts in the U.S. And that's fine. If that's what you're going for, then so be it. But I do hope that we get a real break with House of Torture and with Chase Owens, because I don't want those guys in the Bullet Club.
Yeah,
they don't belong. Yeah, if you're gonna be a group of killers, they don't belong. Go ahead,
yeah.
John.
Yeah, no. Yeah, I only have three things that I have here about this match, other than I love El Phantasmo. And that is an honorable mention here. But the things I have here are that the New Japan tables are hilariously narrow yet stiff, and they're just funny to look at. And then my new bit.
Jericho said, whenever I listened to the first podcast he did with Kenny after their match together, and they talked about it there, they said that the New Japan chairs are the softest, gimmickiest things you've ever dealt with, and the tables are atrocious, whereas in America, the tables are your friend and the chairs are your enemy. Yeah. So it's literally the opposite whenever you cross the Pacific Ocean.
Good to know that whenever we go to, I talk you guys into going to Wrestle Kingdom, I got to be careful where I sit.
Right.
The other thing I have here is that this is my new bit, is that it's the first time seeing somebody. It's my first time seeing Finley as Bullet Club leader, and I do like it. And pretty much everything that you said, Andretti, already. And it was nice to see a show where there was a hot New Japan crowd, and the crowd was hot for a lot of this show, especially for the end and everything. But those were my takeaways from this match. I liked it.
Yeah, I mean, Phantasmo, another guy. I mean, where are we headed with that guy? I mean, he seems like he's just a little aimless right now, and I'm sure they'll try to figure out where they're going to go with him. But I don't know. He's been cold for a little while here.
So what I have is, the first thing that I've noted is Finley legit presents himself like a star, and I give him a lot of credit for that, man, because he was a guy. And he wasn't like a nerd or a geek, but he was a guy for a long time with this audience. And he came out, his entrance, the way that he presented himself, the way that he got heat, the way that he reacted to the babyface comebacks, how he would then, put himself in front of the crowd. This dude was starish, and I give him a lot of credit for that. Like, you can't teach those things. And he's been taking notes, man, obviously, because it wasn't like it was quote unquote natural, but he knew what he was doing. I also, whenever ELP went to strike up the band, and then the Bullet Club jumped into their big time heat for that, which I thought was awesome. Back and forth was good. I had that this was a very good match. And then immediately after this, the reason that I did not finish the Dominion show the first night I watched it was because there was Bullet Club guys out there. My daughter kept saying, can we watch the Fofo Life videos? And so I ended up watching the Bullet Club Titantrons from 2016 through 2020 on a loop over and over again until she went to bed. And then I didn't have a chance to finish that until today. So shout outs to the YouTube creators that do the Bullet Club custom Titantrons, the ones where they have, the snippets and videos of all the guys doing their shtick. She got a huge pop out of it. So thank you. And I got something for you from Adam Cole and a couple of other ones. So yeah, it was a good night.
Yeah. All right. So jumping into the next match here, the match 7, Hiromu Takahashi versus Master Wato. Hiromu is the better worker, but I didn't think Wato ever looked out of place at all during that match, man. What a ride he's been on. When you get opportunities, you got to step up, right? And I would definitely say he has definitely stepped up big time over the course of the last couple of months, especially with that Best of the Super Juniors. I mean, he really did a nice job in that tournament. But I was a little surprised they gave him the push with that. But look again, great job. And I just put down here that near fall bridge for the pin by Watto was just unbelievable. There were so many back and forth near falls with this. There were just everybody was getting hotter and hotter with the crowd. Excellent match, man. I really hope Uncle Dave gives this like a 4-star match or maybe even higher than that, because I thought these guys just tore the house down, man. I mean, look, hats off to Watto, and give Takahashi a raise, man, because that guy went in there and he just sold his ass off, worked his ass off to make Watto look really good. I probably would have went with the flip of the belt there, but I mean, they're basically establishing Takahashi as one of the greatest Super Juniors that's ever lived. And that guy, dude, or the light heavyweight or whatever you want to call it, but like that guy is just, he is so good right now with everything he does, man. And this match, I thought, just hats off to those guys, man. I thought this was a 4-star match, no doubt about it.
Go ahead, John.
Yeah, I have here that it feels like Takahashi's had that belt for 10 years, and every time I see a match, he's always got the belt. Anytime I watch any show, he's always got the belt. Feels like he's been carrying that thing longer than San Martino carried the belt.
He had to vacate a couple times because of injuries. I think Kevin Kelly might have said that, but I know that he had to drop it a couple times because he got hurt.
Yeah.
Well, Kevin Kelly, all the credit in the world. One of the sub holds that Master Watto had him in, Kevin Kelly noted that it was the shoulders and neck that he was attacking, which were both reasons why Takahashi had to vacate before. So give Kevin Kelly a medal, man. He's the best, best in the world.
Yeah, this was my first Master Watto match. And whenever my other notes here are that I wish when Watto carried him up the ramp, I wish he just would have carried him out to the parking lot, and they just kept going around, and he brought him back in. Watto, he turned into Rockabilly there whenever he had him in that submission hold. They were just rocking back and forth there for a while. That popped me. And then that near fall sequence that they had there at the end was awesome. I actually really liked this match. I went in thinking, oh God, another Takahashi match. Like, how many times are we going to see this song and dance? But I liked it. By the time it was over, I was enjoying it, and the crowd was hot too.
Here's what I had for this one. Call me crazy, but I watched this match. So Takahashi last year wins the Best of Super Juniors, faces Taiji Shimori for the Junior Heavyweight Championship at Dominion, does not win. This year, he comes in as the champion. Guy that wins the Best of Super Juniors does not win. However, when the guy that tried to beat him did not win, to me, this screamed Okada Omega 1, where Kenny did everything except hit his finish.
Okay.
It was near fall. I'm close. I'm going to do it, but I can't get, every time I'm going to hit my finish, you had Takahashi either counter out of it, or there was something that got in the way, and then you were a couple of time bombs too late. And that was the entire story of the first Omega Okada match. So to me, this says that Master Watto is that dude, and it's just later on. So this isn't one. This is going to be one of 2 or 3. And I don't have a problem with that, man. I think that all 3 of them will be great. I'll tell you what, Andretti, you said 4 stars. To me, the thing that I've written down is this is 4.5 plus. I would not be surprised.
I don't want to get too crazy, but I think if it was me grading it, it would be 4.5.
I would not be surprised if this is 4.5 or 4.75. It's not a 5-star, but this was great. This was great, especially because they wove in Takahashi's previous injuries. You have the story of Master Wato is so close so many times and he doesn't do it. So I thought this was awesome. Magistry.
Sure. Okay, then that jumps just right into the six man shooter, Moxley, Claudio versus Okada, Tanahashi, and Ishii. First thing I wrote down for this, I mean, how awesome is Moxley's entrance package in New Japan, man? It's so much fun to him at the bar carving the hourglass into the table is really really great. Okada, man, I mean, he just feels so big and so special with all of his presentation. I mean, it's really great to be alive whenever that guy's on top of his game, man. But I mean, look, this is the second time in a row now that we've seen Umino work heel in a six man. And look, if that's the case, dude, then get out of the Miami Vice gear, get him in the Combat Club. If you're going to go after Okada, then let's go after Okada, because I don't want to see Umino as a babyface every time he's not with the Combat Club. Either be a heel or be in the group, or don't be in the group. So that was the thing I wrote down about him. But I thought that Moxley killed Ishii on that clothesline, man. I thought he tore his head right off his body. That was really crazy. And I don't know. Again, I don't know why Moxley's bleeding in a match, why we need to keep doing that. I mean, you got nothing to prove here, man. I don't know why you're still doing that, but that the Castagnoli Okada big spin was just unbelievable to get to see that. I think I stood up and clapped whenever they did that. But in terms of the actual match stuff, that's what I wrote down for the match.
But the Moxley blood was completely appropriate because he got legitimately headbutted by Ishii. And so to me, I was like, if something would have happened, he fell down and gigged, whatever. But the fact that Ishii laid his coconut right into his skull, to me, that was Jon Moxley.
I didn't even know that. I didn't know that.
Yeah. And so it was right off a headbutt. I thought that it fit perfectly well. There was the one thing, to not pair everything you said. What I loved about this was that there was the Shield 3-person power bomb that was a near fall, and then they did the avalanche like DDT or whatever it was with the other group, with the babyface group all together, where they sort of echoed one another. I thought that those were clever little spots. What I really, really liked about this was that everybody got a chance to shine, and nobody would be surprised if we got a singles match between any of the 6 people that were in this match. I thought that it was laid out perfectly. The Moxley and Ishii stuff was my favorite. The Moxley and Okada stuff was great, but the Shooter and Okada stuff was the most interesting because those guys are in the same promotion together. And the fact that they are just showing Shooter as literally having this Owen Hartish little brother bad blood, I thought was awesome. And so I'm with you, man. Turn him. Like just turn him. Have him wear black and have him just be if you want to be an anti-hero, whatever, be it. But yet now's the time.
I had that I'm finally seeing an Umino match that at least I can remember. I thought that, Tana was Tanahashi hit the ropes, and then the way he ran to the ropes was like Cody walking away at that backlash because his legs are so stiff.
Dude, every Tanahashi sling blade looked like the way that I would give one of you guys a sling blade.
Yeah, like just,
you know what I'm saying? Yeah. Like
all the athleticity in his body is gone.
Yep.
I love that guy so much.
I thought that the table throws were awesome by Umino. And I thought it was really great tag team work for the finish. I thought that they all put it all together, and all 3 had a part in the final move for the pin, which I liked a lot.
Sure.
That's the best thing about New Japan finishes, which leads right into the main event, is that typically when you're in a big match, you don't win a match with a stolen move. You win a match with a series of moves. And so they won that match with a series of moves. Do you know what I'm saying? And that's exactly where the Sonata beat Yoda, please help me again.
Suji.
Suji, thank you.
Suji.
That's the way that he beat him at the end, man, is that he needed to string together 3 moves or it wasn't going to happen. So
then the end of that match, man. I mean, how excited are you to see this match coming up, dude?
Oh yeah.
Yeah, it's going to be awesome.
It's a dream match. It's a dream match, well, man. Both these guys are just top 5 in the world.
The only thing that breaks my heart about it is that I was hoping we were going to get all of them in a hardcore match. But if we sacrifice that to get Danielson, Okada, whatever, worth it.
I mean, that's worth the price of admissions right there, dude. That match, that I wrote down that match has got a chance to be match of the year.
Well, we have Danielson, Okada, and then we have Omega Ospreay 2 on the same show.
Yeah.
So already this is the best show of the year. And it hasn't happened yet.
And that's coming up quick, man. I mean, we're recording this on the 6th. That pay-per-view is the 25th, and I'm already freaking climbing the walls waiting to see it. I can't wait to see it.
Yeah, that show's going to be awesome.
Okay, so then the last match here, the main event, IWGP champion Sonata versus Yota Tsuji. And like we said earlier, man, like I remember this guy as a young lion, but to be completely honest with you, like I haven't seen him work in probably 3, 4, maybe 5 years. I mean, I forgot this guy even existed. And I know he went on excursion and he did all his thing and grew his character and all that on excursion. But man, I can't remember. I can't even remember the last time I saw him, but I know it was in the black trunks, in the black boots when he was a young lion. But the other thing I had about just the beginning of the match, I sound like a broken record here with this, but man, that belt sucks. That belt looks like shit, dude. I mean, for this being, in my opinion, the number one promotion in the world, when they're on their game, they are the best promotion in the world, and that belt looks like shit. And that really breaks my heart every time they come out there with that.
Yeah, my only takeaway for this and I absolutely agree, that belt sucks. It doesn't look good. They need to bring the old one back. But yeah, to say about Tsuji, I don't think I've ever seen this guy before. I don't even remember seeing him as a young lion. But call me crazy, but I thought he should have won the match.
I mean, yeah, dude. I mean, we're going to get into that, but I mean, is his nickname is Gene Blast. Is that the best nickname you've ever heard in your life? Gene Blast.
It's pretty great.
I mean, listen, man, same as John said, and you before, didn't know this guy, didn't recognize this guy. I knew that they shot an angle at one of the recent shows, heard the name, didn't ring a bell. This dude was awesome. And not only was he awesome, he comes in there, man, and he's built you know what I had written down? So I wasn't able to take notes because my kid kept saying, Dad, I played rock, paper, scissors 75 times during this match. So we didn't have a chance to write a lot of things down. But the one thing that I had written down was, say that this is Brock Lesnar, Bobby Lashley with better athletes.
Yeah.
So like the way that they booked the 5-minute Brock versus Bobby Lashley match, where it's big move, finish. This was it, except it's with way better athletes, meaning that they could do things like Spanish flies, moonsault, stuff like that. And it didn't need to be 5 minutes. It was able to be 20-ish minutes, with 17 minutes, whatever that might have been. And I literally felt like I was watching one of those Lesnar pay-per-view matches where it was just any of these could be the finish. And I was blown away at that. I thought that both of these guys showed the entire way out. The fact you started the match with Yota Tsuji doing the spear
into the leapfrog. Oh yeah, into that leapfrog, dude.
Catching Sonata right away, and then later on he goes for the spear and Sonata hits him with the drop kick. Like that's layering. That's really important, man. To be like, fool me once, shame on me. Fool me once. You know what I'm saying? Like that you have a champion that's learning from these things. The fact that Yota Tsuji, the first time Sonata went for the Shining Wizard, threw up and he blocked the Shining Wizard. Nobody in pro wrestling today blocks a Shining Wizard, and he did. And I thought that was really important. And then most importantly was the fact that Kevin Kelly and them, who are the most versed and well-researched wrestling, quote unquote, wrestling broadcasters that you have today, are like, every time that Yota Tsuji puts his arm around his neck, we don't know what he's going to do. I thought it was a really, really fun layer to this, because I didn't know what he was going to do then, because every time it was a different move, and there was that sequence of big move, big move, big move that he hit where you thought he was going to beat Sonata. Sonata kicks out, and then Sonata hit his, foray or, barrage of finishers, and then beat him at the end. I thought this was awesome. Absolutely awesome, man. Like, this was awesome. If I didn't see the match before this would have been my favorite match of the night. This was my second favorite match of the night, only because the one previous was so good with such upper echelon talent. But this was great.
I thought for sure they were taking that belt off of Sonata, dude. And I've really come around to him the last couple months, especially with him with his championship run. I love him as champion. I really, really like Sonata right now, and I was worried that they were going to take that belt off him so quick already. But obviously, we're setting up Naito and Tsuji, and I like that a lot. But look, that dude looks like a freaking superstar. Tsuji looks like a freaking superstar, dude.
And the way you make a superstar is the way you just said, and I totally agree with the booking here. Was he didn't beat him now. Naito said, screw you, you couldn't do my bidding. Let him beat Naito. Yeah. And then let's see what happens. Is he still over if he beats Naito? Because if he is,
dude, that guy was
maybe
go
so
with him. Over. He was really over with that crowd, and nobody's seen him work there in 5 years. So I mean, that was crazy that people were popping for Tsuji so much during that match.
Yep. Which lends credence to what we had said before, was we know what you're doing by continuously going with Okada versus Jay White, but please do something different. That obviously, that's the sentiment of the people that are there too. If you're going to go that crazy for this main event, which is such a quote unquote nothing main event, they're ready too, dude. So I think that this is all very good.
Sure. Baker, you got anything else on that match at the end of the main event?
No, I just thought that it was that they should have done a title switch, and that's all. That's all I got, really.
I think it's coming, man. But look, to wrap all this up, man, that show I thought was excellent. That was an excellent, excellent show that they put on for 4.5 hours. I was never bored once. I loved every second of it. And look, the direction of where they're going with these new faces and creating new factions and adding people and that, dude, I think this is going to be awesome. They're going in the right direction, man. I really think they are.
Yeah. It's awesome. I thought it was great, and yeah. But so thank you for all checking out the first episode of Toof and Nails. This is going to be something that Mongoose and Andretti do more frequently. I was hopping on here to get us kicked off, but we got a lot of good stuff coming up. Make sure you check us out on Twitter and Instagram at @the_Podski, Facebook. And also YouTube. Make sure you're checking out the YouTube for all the hot shot stuff. You're going to get clips of not only this show, but all the other shows that we're doing. We're going to do mini clips on there as well. So if you're seeing those, be sure to check out the full episodes. And this is awesome. Well, thank you both for hopping on here, and can't wait to see what you both do with the show.
Yeah, looking forward to doing a lot of more additional shows and just throwing them up whenever we get time to do it. I know we don't really have like a timeline for when we're going to post the Tooth and Nail stuff, but I mean, I think it's going to be really fun just to have the option to do a lot more additional work and cover a lot more ground, whenever we're doing the normal Thursday shows too.
Absolutely. So with that, we thank you for listening, and we'll see you next time on Tooth and Nails.
Investigate East Carolina.